Hey guys, this is our second lesson, and just like last week, I'm going to work on the highlighted questions with you guys, and then I'm going to give you guys some time to pause and then work on the rest of the questions on your own. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys the answer key so then you guys could check your work. Okay, so let's get started with exponents. So it says, write as an exponent for the problems below, and then solve the expression. So let's look at the example problem, okay? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 5s, right? Which could be expressed as 5 to the power of 4, right? Which also equals 625. Okay, so that seems pretty easy. So let's look at number 6. So how many 11s do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 11s, right? So then how do we write it? We write it as 11 to the power of 4, since there's 4 11s, right? And then now let's solve it. Well, 11 times 11 equals 121, right? And then 11 times 11, again 121. So then we just do 121 times 121. Okay, so then that's 1, 2, 1. Right, and that's 2, 4, 2, and then lastly it's again 1 to 1. So we get a sum of 1, 4. Okay, so there you go. Here's your answer. 4. Right? Okay. So now let's move on to, so go ahead and pause and work on the rest of the questions. And then let's move on to expressions and equations. So it says, solve for x in the expression below. Be sure to share your work. Okay, so let's look at number 6 again. So what do we have? We have x plus 11 plus 3 equals 22. Okay, well, let's combine everything, okay? So let's combine 11 and 3. So it's going to become x plus 14 equals 22, right? And then how do we solve it from here? Well, hopefully you guys know this already, right? What do? We're going to subtract 14, right? We're going to isolate the x, okay? So then what is it? What's 22 minus 14? 8. Okay, so your answer is x equals 8. Hopefully this isn't anything new to you guys. Hopefully it's something familiar. So again, go ahead and pause and finish this page, and then let's move on to let's move on to absolute values. So the direction says, find the absolute value for the numbers below. Okay, well, let's first talk about absolute values. What are absolute values? Well, by definition, it's the magnitude of real numbers without regards to the sign. So what does that mean? Well, basically, it means that anything, even though there's a negative sign inside the absolute value, it's going to come out positive. Why? Because absolute values are just distance, right? It means a distance. So can you have a negative distance? There's no such thing. So distance cannot equal negative. Okay? Distance cannot equal negative. Therefore, it must be positive. So let's look at number 6. So absolute value of 32.90. Well, it's just positive, right? It's just going to come out positive. So 32.90. Well, that was easy. Then let's look at number 7. This is negative 20.03. Well, as I said, it's going to come out positive. Why? Because it's a distance, right? So then it's just going to be 20.03. Okay? So go ahead and finish the rest. And let's move on to word problems. So number 1 says the altitude of the elevator is represented by the expression 10 minus 2s, where s is a time in seconds. Okay, so what is the altitude of the elevator after 4 seconds? Be sure to share your work. Okay, so s is what? S is seconds, right? And then we have this equation over here, which represents the altitude. Okay, so the altitude equals 10 minus 2s, right? And then now what did it say? It says, what is the altitude of the elevator after 4 seconds? So what are we going to do? We're going to plug in 4 here, where the s is. So we are going to go ahead and altitude equals 10 minus 2, plug in the 4, so then it becomes 2 times 4. Okay, well, now what do we have? We have 2 times 4, which is 8, right? So then we have this equation now, and then let's just solve it. 2, right? 10, because it's just 10 minus 8. So what's our altitude? Our altitude equals 2. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too hard. So go ahead and give the rest of the questions a try. And then here is your answer key.